Today, it's tremendous chus to be along with you in the holy city of Beit Shemesh. Where are we? In Eretz Yisrael. We are on Daf Lamed Ches Amud Beis, about 3 lines from the bottom exactly. Gemorah says, Masiv Rav Yitzchak Bash Shmuel. Ask Rav Yitzchak, the son of Shmuel, Yirak Hashem Yitzvem Yidei Chavos of Pesach Yitzvem Yetze Behem Ubeklach Shelahen Avaloi Kvushin. So the vegetables that you eat for tomorrow, what do you eat on Pesach? Which vegetables? Gesundheit. What vegetables do you eat on Pesach? You have to have tomorrow, something better. Lettuce, what's that stuff called? Horseradish, whatever you eat, right? So you can use it if it's Yetze Behen Avaloi Kvushin. You can't use it if it's pickled, Veloi Shluken, not if it's cooked. Light cooked, sauteed, or we said maybe it means deep cooked. V'lo muvusholim, not if it's regular boiled. So you can't boil your horseradish first. You can't pickle it. If you're going to tell me that the sauteed horseradish is the same as regular horseradish, and it's got the same bracha, so why can't you eat it for Mara on Lal Seder? The Gemara answers, Shani Hasan, the beaten Tamar. That's different. With Mara, you need something bitter. You need a taste of bitterness. For Leika, once you saute it, once you pickle it, it loses what it's there for. It loses the Mara. It's no longer bitter. You can't be Yetzer. So he's going back to this case before that Rav Yechon ate this pickled olive. And the Gemara asks, how did he make a bracha? Bracha Achronim. How do you make a bracha Achronim? It said Reb Yechanan, it was Mevarach by Priya 8, and then bracha Achas ben Shalish. He said ala Michya, or ala Peiris rather, for olive. So he made it ala 8. He made a by Priya 8 on this olive, and then he said bracha Achas ben Shalish on one olive. The Gemara says, Heichi Mevarach al Zayis Meliach. How did he make a bracha on this olive? Why? What's wrong? Why can't you make a bracha on an olive? Gemara says, given the shakila lagarina, since you take out from the olive the pit, botzlei shira, you're missing the shear. You're lacking in shear. The size is not big enough. In other words, what shear do you need to make a bracha achroina? To make the bracha after you eat, you have to have a kazayas. So he ate a zayas. So you say that's a shear. He ate a zayas. No, it's not a zayas because he takes out the pit. He didn't eat the pit. He took out the pit. So now he had olive minus pit. So he didn't have a full zayis. That's the Gemara's kasha. So you need Gemara answers, you think you need a big zayis to make a ala gefen, ala michya, whatever it is? Kazayis beinli bein. You only need the average size zayis. You only need the average size olive to make a ala michya. In other words, there's different size olives. There's huge olives. There's the big ones. There's small, medium. You don't, to say ala michya, you don't need to have a big olive. You have to have a medium olive. So, they gave him a huge olive. And he took out the pit. So now it remains a shear the size of a medium-sized olive. That's why he has to make a bracha chroina. So, you still have the size needed for making it after bracha. So, the Rishonim speak a fascinating sugya. What about bracha Rishonim? That's regarding saying the blessing after you eat. What about making a bracha before you eat? Do you have to make a bracha if you have less than a zayis? So the Mefarshim seem to say, the Rishonim, the Rashba says, the Rosh, you see from here, the problem was how do you make a bracha afterwards? But the bracha before, you make a bracha on anything you eat, even less than a zayis. Like we saw the Gemara says a few days ago, also bracha. You're not allowed to eat anything without a bracha beforehand. You're not allowed to enjoy this world without making a blessing. So even if you have half olive, make a bracha beforehand, right? And the only problem here was, what about the bracha afterwards? So the bracha afterwards, you have to say you have a zayis. That's the first opinion. Second opinion is that you do make a bracha. Says Rabbeinu Yeni, yeah, you make a bracha. But if you're having less than the zayis, you only make a shakal. It's downgraded from the bracha of Bei Priya Eitz, Bei Priya Adama. You only say shakal if you have less than the zayis. The Ravid says, if you have bread less than ice, you have a crack, you have a soup nut, a bread soup nut less than ice, make a mitzi. But otherwise, if you have a little bit of a banana, then you do make a hadama. Now, it's only downgraded by bread. So there is a sheeter out there that less than ice, you don't make a bracha b'chal. I don't think we pass them like that, but l'chayr you have to make a bracha. It's a das yachid, you don't make a bracha b'chal. It comes into a big shaila here, which is going to get everyone on Shabbos. What bracha do you make if you have whiskey? Do you make it after? Now, what's a share for drinking? So it's l'chayr is either kazayis or it's a lugmov. That's the share you have to make a bracha after. It's not a zayis. You have to have a mouthful of this, a mouthful, and then you can make a bar nefashis, right? After you drink. What happens if you have whiskey? You have a tiny shot of whiskey. Do you make a bar nefashis? So the Taz says most people don't drink, a revius of whiskey. They don't have a quarter of a cup of whiskey. They have a little sip. They have a shot glass. So you're never going to make a bar nefashis on it. And so he says, what you do is you go with what most people drink. For most people, a shot glass is a share. You make a bar nefashis on a shot glass. Magen Avraham says, no, you go with a share. It's a low play plug. Chazal didn't say, whiskey you make on less share, this make on more share. Doesn't matter what people drink. What matters is a share. That's I think Eliyahu Rabbah says, big machlokes what you do. And therefore I think lechatchila the Taz says you can make kiddush on whiskey on a little bit. Others say no, you need a proper revius. You have to have a share. You're supposed to make a bar nefashos on it. Okay, we're not going to get into that. Says the gemorah. T'tnan. Now we're going back to the fact that zayis, the share of a zayis you have to have in order to be required to make a bracha afterwards. What's the share of the olive you have to have? Is a middle-sized olive. It's a big machlokes. I think some places say that all the olives nowadays are much smaller than they were back then. You can't go to stores and see some huge olives, right? Maybe that's what the size of the olives back then, but like the ones you get in the jar, like literally a quarter, an eighth of the size, right? The zehu aguri. This is called the Beinani olive is called the aguri. What does it mean aguri? So we'll see. Hold on. Different names. Why is this olive called an aguri? Aguri means to gather, to store. The olive is a guri that the juice, the olive oil is stored inside of it. And Rashi says, the second line in Rashi, you give this olive a little bit of a squeeze and the olive oil just pours out of it. It's the oil is not absorbed in the fruit part of the olive. It's easy, it comes out easily. Kumashka tapuchim like v'tutim. It's not like apple juice that you gotta crush it. It's like grape juice, it just comes out beautifully, easily. That's a share of an olive that you chayv a bracha achronim from. Says the gemorah, name a katarai. Let's say this is a machlokes of the Tanoim. The 100 Talmidim of Yasvi Kamid the Bar Kapra. There's two Talmidim. They were sitting in front of Bar Kapra. Two students saying that. Have you in front of Kruv? They bought in front of the cabbage, the Durmaskin. Rashi says it's a type of cabbage also. Rashi says, where is Rashi? Rashi says, Hein shlokus me'isiv shekain akdelashit. I don't know what that is. A type of cooked herb. Then he brings another pirish prunch, aka prunes. So some say this means prunes, or another type of herb that was cooked. So he brought in front of this guy cabbage, prunes, and pragiot, chicken, baby chicklets, or part of the chicken. Not actually sure. In Hebrew, pragiot means, Rashi says pragit basar oif, chicken meat shekairin praderia. So basically either baby chicken or something, a part of the chicken. So Nasan Bar Kapra Rishus Lechem Elavach. So Bar Kapra, he said, one of you two Talmidim, you make a bracha. Take the food, go enjoy. Now go ahead and make a bracha. This is your test, right? What do you make a bracha on? You got three things: cabbage, durmiskin, and chicken. Kofat u'burich ala pragis. One guy got up and he made a bracha and he blessed on the chicken. He made a bracha on the chicken. Right? Why? Because l'chayra. Why do you make a bracha on the chicken? Because you make a bracha on what you enjoy most. He wanted the chicken more, so he made a bracha on the chicken. Ligle galav chaveris. His friend laughed at him. You idiot! You made a bracha on the chicken. He laughed at him. And Kaz Bar Kappa, it sounds like one of these jokes. So he made the bracha, he laughed, and Kaz Bar Kappa, and Bar Kappa got very angry, he got very upset. Okay, so what's going on over here? And that was a story. So Gemara says, Amar, he said, I'm not angry with the one who made the bracha. You made the wrong bracha. I'm angry with the guy that laughed at him, his friend that laughed at him. How'd you laugh at someone who makes the wrong bracha? That's what you do, you laugh. What a disgusting thing to do. He was angry. If your friend is like someone that's never eaten chicken in his life, he's excited to make a bracha on chicken, because that's why he was chaviv alav. Why did you laugh at him? Why are you laughing at this guy? So he's excited to eat a piece of chicken, so that's why he wants to make a bracha on it. Chazav Amar, then I'm not sure why he did this. Chazav Amar, he changed his mind. And then he said, I'm not angry with the guy that laughed, I'm angry with the guy that made the bracha, the wrong bracha. And then he said, why was he angry with the guy that made the wrong bracha? He said, V'amar, this is a famous line, Im chochma en kan, zikna en kan, even if I'm not a chacham, even if I'm not a wise man, I'm not a rabbi, zikna en kan, I'm not an old man. Why don't you ask me? What are you making a bracha? You don't know what to make the bracha on. You blew it. Obviously you never learned it, right? Chacham, I'm not a chacham, but I'm a zakein. You should have asked me. In other words, he's a chacham also. He was a wise man. He was a moira. You should have asked him. But this is a nice way of saying, like, why didn't you ask him? I guess the Gemara is trying to give us some chizuk over here. Both of them didn't make the year. They both went kaput. They both blew it. Okay, so the Gemara says, my love, what was the machlaikas between these two guys? My love, the guy that made the bracha held the vegetables and the chicken, you make a shakal on everything. It's all the same bracha. Shlakais, the vegetables, the kruv, the cooked cabbage or the cooked prunes. Some say it can't be prunes because you don't cook prunes normally, but maybe it was cooked in those, I don't know. Shlokas of Pragia, shakol lebedvar. You make a shakol on everything. It's all the same bracha. Once it's cooked, you make a shakol on everything. And once it's cooked, if everything's got the same bracha, what do you do? If you make a bracha on the thing that you like the most. In other words, if you've got three things in front of you, and it's all a shakol, chicken, prunes, honey, whatever it is, you're supposed to make a bracha on the thing you like the most. Chaviv. You go with chaviv. That's what he held. The guy that laughed him, Sava Shlaka is bar piadama. Why is he wrong? Because Shlakas is bar piadama. Shlakas, anything, a cooked vegetable, you don't make shakal on. If you cook a carrot, you make adama on it. So Shlakas is bar piadama, pragiat, shakal nebedvare. This chicken, you make a shakal. Hilchach peira adif. If you're faced with a shakal and adama, what should you say first? You say the adama. That's what the Gemara wants to assume. We're going to take a look at Taisus in a second. The Gemara says no. Like the kula alma shlakai sapagi shakol nebedvarai. Everyone agrees that you make a shakol on both the cooked vegetables and the chicken. V'hacha by svara komifligi. And here there's a machlekes in svara. Masav a chaviv. The first guy held chaviv adif, that's why he made a bracha on chicken, and masav a kruv adif the zayin. What bracha should you make first? You should make on the on the cabbage, because zayin is more nutritious than the chicken. Or Rashi says mezin. I'm not sure what it means exactly. Zayin. Rashi says kruv lemozin v'tal delefur. There's a gemorah later on that says that you want to have a cabbage is for mozin to fill you up, for tardin and spinach is a is refuah, is medicine. So you see that there's a special benefit to having kruv. This cabbage is amazing, whatever that means. It's healthy. Yeah, maybe. I guess that's why. So says the gemorah. So take a look at Taisus. What's going on over here? This is a very yeshivs Taisus nageh every day for us. It says Taisus chaviv adif. So he held chaviv adif. We paskin chaviv adif. Chaviv, if you got two things in front of you, you make the bracha on what you like better, not what is more nutritious, right? So chaviv adif v'chein halacha, and that's the halacha says Taisus. We pass in chaviv adif. You make a bracha on whatever you like. So what is he talking about? When do you make a bracha on what you like? If you've got two types of fruit in front of you, you make a bracha on the fruit you like more. So you've got in front of you apples and oranges. You like apples, make a bracha on the apples. And if you've got a bar piadoma and a shakal, what would you say first? Do you say shakal on the chicken or hadoma on your cabbage? You first make hadoma. Why? The muvaras tfei. It's more exclusive. Shakal includes everything. It's a higher bracha. It's muvaras. V'chashuv alatzmai mikris. It's got a special, unique importance to say bar piadoma. You're praising Hashem for something more specific. Not that He made everything. He made the fruits of a tree. He made the fruits of a plant, of the ground. It's more specific. It's more chashuv. So in other words, Taisa says, you got two things. You love chicken, and you want to have a banana. What should you say bracha on first? What you enjoy, or the adama? So you first say adama, because the bracha is more chashuv. It's a more important, it's a better bracha by adama than shakal. So even though you prefer chicken, you first say adama. You got in front of you a bunch of fruit, apples, oranges, pears, bananas, or whatever. One of the fruit is from the Zaina Minim, Rimain, Tena, dates, pomegranates. You should make a bracha on the Shevas HaMinim, which is better. When's this very negeah? It's once a year, it's negeah to most people. Rosh Hashanah, first day of the year, people they have apples and honey and dates and pomegranates. So what should you make a bracha on first? The first simon is you dip your apple in the honey, right? But you should first make a bracha on the date. Taisa says, that is Shivas HaMinim. First make a bracha on the date, even though in the simonim it comes later on, Nitamus Anenu. But the first bracha you should make is on the apple, is on the date, or the rimon. Which one comes first? It goes in the order of the Shivas HaMinim. So you first make on the date, not the rimon. Okay, says the gemorah. Back to the gemorah. So, Amar of Zera. Story with Rav Zera. Ki havinan bei Rav Huna. I was by Rav Huna. Amali hani garglidi delifta. These turnip heads. The head of the turnip that grows, apparently the turnip, this part that's sticking out of the ground is more nutritious, it's tastier, it's more beneficial. So the top of the turnip, pramina prima raba. If you cut it into big pieces, you say bar piadama. Prima zuta, if you chop it up into small pieces, you say shakol nibidvari. So it makes a difference based on how fine you chop it. Says Gemara, and when we went to Rabbi Yehuda's house, he said to us, bar piadama. For both of them, you say bar piadama. 1 second. V'hai de prinu tfei. Why'd you chop it up finely? It just tastes better. It makes it sweeter. Chop it up finer. But you say for both of bar piadama. So it's a machlekes. If you chop it up finely, you say bar piadama, or do you say shakol? Yeah, what?
Well, I was just asking why it would make a difference, but apparently they just discussed it.
Yeah. Says Gemara.
The same thing applies also to like a bread product. Like,
yeah, well,
if you don't recognize it,
we're going to discuss that now. We touched on it before. We're going to dig a little bit deeper now. It says Gemara, Amar Vashi. Story, Rav Vashi says, Kavina Beir of Kahana. Amalan Tafshila de Silka. He said, I was by Rav Kahana. He said, Tafshila de Silka. this selek, silka l'chayra is beets. L'chayra, it's either Swiss chard, spinach, something like that. L'chayra, it's Swiss chard. That's the pashtus, right? Delay mafshu bakimcha. If you don't put a lot of water in it, what bracha do you make? Bar piyadama. In other words, you make a dish with your Swiss chard and flour, right? Or your spinach and flour. Delay mafshu bakimcha. You don't put a lot of flour in. What bracha do you make? Bar piyadama. There's not a lot of flour in that. The lifter, the mafshu bakimcha. But if you put in a lot of kamach, bar minim zaynis, then you say bar minim zaynis. Because it's like a mezainis dish. Then he said, either way, I changed my mind. You say even though you mix your spinach with breadcrumbs. Why'd you put flour in it? Sorry, why'd you put flour in? You put the flour in so it sticks together. That's why you put the flour in with your spinach.
I would.
So you see from here that you can have tons of flour in your dish, even if it's a lot of flour. But if it's there for a purpose, you're not eating the flour because you want to eat bread now. You want a cookie. You're eating the flour because you want it to make it stick together. You say adama. So what's this very relevant to? Meatballs. You make a meatball. People put breadcrumbs in it, or you make burgers. People put breadcrumbs in, or fish balls, or filter fish. There's breadcrumbs in all these things. But people don't want to have the bread. You're not having the sandwich now. You're having a meatball. The bread is to make the bun stick, to make the meat stick together. I just made a burger without meat. It is. The bread guy, I just made a burger. I knew more a third of eggs and bread. The bread makes it stick together much better. If you put in tons of breadcrumbs, it'll be rock solid, right? Take bread, cook it for 10 minutes on a fire, it becomes rock hard, right? That's what happens. The egg makes it bind, but also the breadcrumbs. I made a burger for someone, we didn't have breadcrumbs, and the thing fell apart. It was like having chopped meat, So, the bread makes it stick together. Old recipe, here. You argue with the gemorah. Gemorah says it makes it stick together. Omer of Chisda, maybe the guy didn't have eggs. You could do it, if you don't have, some people don't like eggs, and then I've seen the big chef saying, you don't have eggs, you don't want to eat eggs, you could put in just breadcrumbs and water and it sticks together. You don't need to put eggs doesn't do anything. Anyway, so, Omer of Chisda, Tafsha shel tardin, this cooked tardins, cooked spinach, Swiss chard, Yofel alev is good for your heart, the Tovle naim, it's good, it means it's beautiful for your heart. Tovle naim is good for your eyes. The koshkein, all the more so, is good for your stomach. And I just checked out why is Swiss chard so beneficial for your heart, for your eyes, your stomach. First of all, it's got 5 times your daily dose in a cup of Swiss chard, vitamin K that you need. It's got tons of nitrates, which reduces blood pressure, it takes away most heart issues. A lot of heart problems come from lack of nitrates in the system. All sorts of things we block the nitrates. So it's very healthy for your heart. And it's got tons of beta carotene and other things which are great for your eyes, lutein, lutein, and other stuff I don't know how to pronounce, which is good for your eyes, which stops macular degeneration. And it's very high in fiber, which is good for your stomach. So that's what Gemara says. Here you have it. You don't need modern science. It's thousands of years old. Food, Swiss chard is great for your stomach, eyes, and heart. I just thought it's interesting in the Kudah. What's the difference between Yofel alev and Tovle naim? What's the difference between those two lashonos? One, Yofel literally means nice, and Tov means it's good. So I guess Tovle naim means it doesn't make your eyes stronger. You're not going to see better, but it protects it. Tov, the beta carotene protects your eyes from issues. Yofel actually improves your heart function. It gives you more koyach, gives you more strength. The nitrates opens up the vessels, it reduces blood pressure, all this type of stuff. Okay. Says Gemara, Omar Abaye, when is it good for you? Who the Yosef Abay Tofi va'ave tuchtuch. Rashi says tuchtuch means it makes a sizzling sound. So the Swiss chard is good for you when you cook it on a pot. It sits on the top, and you hear it sizzling. You should got to cook it first, and that actually the modern technology it releases the whatever it is. It sizzles, and then it's better for you. It reduces all sorts of bad stuff in it. It makes the your body absorb it much better. Amar Papa, says Rav Papa, Pshitali, Maya the silka kasilka. The juice of the silka is silka. You say, you cook your selek in water. What bracha do you make when you drink the water? Adama. Umay the lifta kalifta. When you drink the water of lifta, you also say adama. Umay the kulishaki. You cook any vegetable, you say adama. Bayer Papa says, Maya the shifta. Mai. What bracha do you make a Maya the shifta? L'chayra shifta. Rashi says, take a look in Rashi. Where's this Rashi? Rashi says Maya the shifta. Rashi says shifta is about 6 lines above where we are. People put a tiny bit of this vegetable in your pot. You don't put it in to eat it. You've got no intention to eat the shifta. Anit. Anit, l'chayr, they say it means anise. Anise. You put anise in the pot. You don't know it doesn't. You don't want to eat the anise, but it gives a taste to it, or it takes away the bad taste, something like that. So maya the anise water, right? What brach do you make? Limtuki taima avdi. Is it to make it taste better? In which case you make a brach on it. Ay lavuri zuma avdila. Or it's to get rid of the bad stuff in the pot. It takes away whatever the zuma is in the pot. It takes away the bacteria, whatever it is, right? So Toshma. The Gemara says, Hasheves mishnasa tam b'kedera. This and it's the same thing. Hasheves shvita, right? Mishnat no tam b'kedera. Once it puts flavor in your pot, and now the anise stick is no longer, there's nothing there, now it's just a piece of wood. Ein ba mishum truma. This is no longer, that stick of the anise is no longer considered truma. It doesn't have the din of a food to become tomei. So you see from here that you're putting it in to give taste, to give flavor. And therefore you should make a bracha on the water of the anise. This is a complicated gemorah. Massive machlokes here. Let's see if we have time to do it. Pastnuma, bread. Tznuma means like dried bread, toasted bread. Bika'ara in a dish. You put it in your soup. In other words, soup croutons. The good big soup croutons. What bracha do you make them in marach and aleh ha moitzi? So Reb Chaim Ba'ashi says, what bracha do you make on? You dip your toast in the soup. What bracha should you make? Ha moitzi.
What if they're small croutons?
No nafkamina. L'chayra. We'll see. But as long as it's got tzuras apas, if you want to say before, it looks like bread. It doesn't look like, mush. It looks like bread. It's got tzur denama. You make a mitzi. So l'chayr, what's he saying? Now, upliga Reb Chaim. So Reb Chaim ba'aba is chalik on Reb Chaim. Why? Because Reb Chaim says, Reb Chaim, Sar shetichle bracha im apas. You've got to finish your bracha when you eat the bread. In other words, like this. What's he saying? You got to make when you're supposed to make a bracha on a shalem. Everyone agrees you're supposed to make a bracha on a whole loaf. You're not supposed to break up the loaf, right? So what do? You're making a bracha on this loaf. You say hamaytzech min haaretz, and then if you tear it and eat it, it's a little hefsek. So what does he say? Reb Chaim says you should start saying a bracha on a shalem. You've got to start when it's shalem. But as you're making the bracha, you break the bread. You say min haaretz, and then you can eat. You don't have to break the bread afterwards.
You can't slice bread?
Now you can't. 1 second. You're not supposed to do any melacha while you're making a bracha. You should be thinking about the bracha. But since it's a tzarech the bracha, you do it for the purpose of the bracha. So you go allowed to break the bread while you're making the bracha. But you should start on a shalem, right? So you should start making bracha. Eat it, right? But you started saying the bracha when it's a shalom, because that's a greater shevach. It's a better way to praise Hashem when you have a whole fruit, a whole bread. You make a bracha. You don't make a bracha on a crumb, right? So therefore, now let's go back. So what does Reb Chaim hold? Reb Chaim says you take your bread. You can't eat this dried, toasted bread. It's too hard for you. You put it in the soup. Now it falls apart, right? Now it's soft. Now you can make the bracha. So that's l'chayr the machlokes. Is according to the first opinion, Reb Chaim Ba'ashi, you could put it in the pot, it falls apart. You don't have to make a bracha when it's shalem. You could let it be in the pot. Put it in your soup and then make a bracha, right? As long as it's still got your tzuras apas, it still looks like bread, but it's nice soggy bread now. You can make almost like on your bread. But Ruchia says, no, you've got to make on a shalem. Can't put it in your soup fast. It's got to be shalem. That's the chayr, the machlekes between the two. Take a look in Taisus. Taisus, that's how most Rishonim learn the gemorah here. Taisus is a whole different pshat. Says Taisus, bottom Taisus. What are we talking about? If besides for your bread in the soup, you've got another whole loaf. Everyone agrees it's better to make on a full loaf. If there isn't a shalem in front of you, so what's the machlekes? I don't understand. We said before, pirurin, breadcrumbs, croutons. You take your soup croutons, you put it in the soup. What bracha do you make on it? Hamaitzi. Since it looks like bread, you say hamaitzi. You got the nice big soup croutons they give you in restaurants normally. You make hamaitzi on it. It looks like hamaitzi, huh? Okay. So what are we talking about? No one's chaylik l'chayr that you could put your croutons in the soup and you say hamaitzi. So what's Reb Chaim arguing on? So says Taisus, Shleima. What are we talking about? You're going to eat a shleima lefanav ubata minat snuma. You've got in front of you a whole bread, but you also have your soup nuts. Reb Chaim ba'ashi sava d'havei kamei shleima ma'ashi chaviv alav mevarach aleh. Since these soup nuts are more enjoyable than the shalem, you make a bracha on the soup nuts. Reb Chaim says no. You got to make a bracha on the shalem and break it with the bracha. So since it's better to make a bracha on the shalem, not on the soup nuts. So the machlekes says what's better? To make a bracha on one thing you prefer to eat, the soup nuts, or to make a bracha on the shalem, that's the machlekes. If there's no shalem bread in front of you, everyone agrees that you on the soup croutons you make amaitzi chamaretz. There's no machlekes about that. Everyone agrees soup croutons you make amaitzi. Other Rishonim saying no. Of course you're allowed to make amaitzi. Once you put it in the soup, you make amaitzi on it. The question is, should you make a bracha then put it in your soup and then eat it? Is it like a hefsek? Or should you make hamaitzi, eat, and then put the rest in your soup? I guess maybe he can't eat it. He wants to put it in the soup. That's how they understand it. He doesn't want to eat this hard, dried bread. He wants soup. So you make it on the shalem, then put it in your soup, then eat it. Or better to have a bracha on the shalem. Ad Khan, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Some yid from Nebraska wants a Shabbos meal in Yerushalayim.